I just I'm at the point in this country where I feel like I just need to be jobless because
Her caption said, living off government assistance.
country where I feel like I just need to be jobless because I'm telling you that people without job in this country are living a way better life than I do. It is better to actually be poor, not have a job, not have nothing, do not work and get government assistance than being a working class, middle class families. We are just like in this middle level where it's like you are too rich to get any help from the government, but you are too poor to get any tax break from the government. So we pay more taxes than people who are actually rich, but we don't get any help from the government because we make too much money. So we are the working class, the middle class. We just here. We get nothing and we just keep paying things. I'm at the point in this country where
You guys, how I have a lot of people had questions on how I have so much money even though I'm unemployed, and I thought the answer was pretty obvious, but I got you guys. Basically, I just live off the government. The taxes you guys pay, they come back to me. I got fired from my last job, so I collect unemployment benefits. And even though I don't have custody of my daughter, I still claim her on my taxes, so that's like a tax cut, brings in extra money. And since I have all this time, I have time to go on dates with multiple men. So I have like a bunch of dating profiles, and I go on like 3 dates a week, and that really saves me a lot of money. And also some of these, they go on and then they are funding my life kind of. And if you really want a little bit more, if the men that you're dating, like they're very financially stable, you can have a baby with them and get even more tax breaks, and then you're saving more money, all while collecting that unemployment. And you can do a side gig if you want, like little jobs here and there. But yeah, that's how I have so much money.
Doesn't this just seem so evil? So intentional? And listen, even if there was a little bit of facetiousness in there, let's say she's being facetious. Let's give her some credit, even though this is what she decided to do as far as coming online and displaying herself and representing herself in this way. Let's just say she's being facetious and she wants to get clicks and she's trying to bait people, rage bait people. Cool. But this is where we are in this time, to where there's no thought about your reputation. Is it worth it? Is what I want to know. And I don't think people have done the cost risk or the cost benefit analysis and conducted that to know, because most people are just impulsive. So I think she just thought of the idea. She said this is going to get a lot of views, a lot of engagement, but she didn't think about the long-term implications that were actually going to come on her reputation. And so what we see is people are just being impulsive and they're just doing whatever just to get attention for today, but they're not thinking about how that attention is still going to linger on their reputation for tomorrow. And I think that's incredible. And even the thought processes that she's saying, as far as what is she really saying? Manipulate men, use men, lie, defraud. She says she's claiming her child that she no longer has possession of. All these different things. And she's not going to be held accountable for that in any way, probably. I think that's amazing. I really do. People will come on here and intentionally say this type of stuff in order to get famous, but yet we want to cancel people for having opinions or having different viewpoints that are accepted. Y'all, before we get back into it, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And also if you could hype, but definitely if you could like, because it is only a click. And if you're here anyway, you might as well just click that like button.
Let me introduce, drumroll please.
Her caption says, introducing a broke, jobless mom of 6 living on government assistance.
A broke, jobless mom of 6 living on government assistance. At least that's what a lot of y'all in my comments think. I cannot believe it. We hit 50K on Facebook and Instagram. So I think it's time for another introduction for everyone that's new. My name is Kirsten. I am 27 years old with 6 kids. Ages 8, 7, 3, 2. And then my baby is about to turn 1 tomorrow. And then I have a newborn. I've been doing content for a little over a year now. And I am employed. I work full-time as a dental assistant. But honestly, I would love to get paid for doing content as well. Believe it or not, but doing content is a full-time job itself. It may sound easy, just put your phone up and record, but it comes with a lot of time and effort, and not only that, a lot of judgment. People are always going to have their opinions, share their opinions, and assume the worst. I'm the type of person that never cared about what anybody thought about me because I know my truth and I'm just a mom that's trying. So anyone that has anything negative to say, I could care less, honestly. But doing this content thing also has its perks. Like, there's so many kind and genuine people out there that actually care and are so supportive, and honestly, I appreciate it so much. And those are the ones that I like to show up for because they show up for me. So I'm going to continue to share my life with y'all, and the ones that truly support me will appreciate it, and to the ones that are gonna hate, I bet y'all will still watch my video and still comment under it. But anyways, I'm just a girl who's a full-time mom, a full-time employee, and a full-time content creator. So if you're here to stay, buckle up and come along on this ride with me, raising 6 kids, working, taking care of the home, sports, all of the things. But I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Let me
flag something because I'm glad she said this. I'm glad she said this because we need to address this.
Tomorrow, and then I have a newborn. I've been doing content for a little over a year now, and I am employed. I work full-time as a dental assistant, but honestly, I would love to get paid for doing content as well.
Here it goes. Listen.
Believe it or not, but doing content is a full-time job itself. It may sound easy, just put your phone up and record, but it comes with a lot of time and effort, and not only that, a lot of judgment.
She said, being a content creator is a full-time job in itself. That is true. And that is something that we don't really think about. And we see all these people who are on government assistance who say that they are working to try to become content creators. And as she just said, which is the truth, being a content creator, especially the way these people are trying to come at it, is a full-time job. So what that means is you're on government assistance, but you're doing something that clearly isn't bringing in revenue in a lot of cases. I'm not just speaking about her case in particular. In most cases, people are doing this thing that is like a full-time job, but they're on government assistance, and they will do everything but actually get a full-time job. And that's why I wanted to flag that. She's working one job, but you're on government assistance. It sounds like you need to get another job, in my opinion, so that you can get off of government assistance. You don't get to do the fun thing, the content creation thing, in my opinion, which you say is like a full-time job, as opposed to just getting a full-time job. I'm quitting my 9-to-5 to live off government assistance until Trump ends it. Her description says welfare is better than living paycheck to paycheck.
I'm so sleepy. I'm so tired. Yet and still I gotta get up and punch this clock just to get back up and do it all over again. Because you don't make enough money to save and just, make another way. You make just enough money to pay that light bill, that gas bill, that water bill, that phone bill, gas bill, car, whatever. You make just enough money to survive. So you get up every day like a merry-go-round. Punch that clock, get up, do it all over again. Man, y'all know what? I'm about to quit and just go on food stamps and medical and milk that until Trump end that too. What y'all say?
I used to be on food stamps, sitting at home all day, playing video games, and trying to put in new...
The description basically just says this millionaire was on food stamps. And I think I've seen him before. He's pretty famous on YouTube. Definitely I've seen him. So apparently he used to get food stamps.
To be on food stamps, sitting at home all day, playing video games, and trying to put in the least amount of effort possible in order to live. And I was getting paid by the government to do that. Now I'm making money and I'm paying over $4 million in taxes, and I'm paying for the next generation of lazy retards, and maybe a handful of them might do well later on.
If you make federal minimum wage, which is $7.25, and if you get boosted to $15 an hour,
yeah,
you actually only got a real wage boost of about $1 because of the social programs you get kicked off.
Exactly. You have like the medical assistance program, you have food stamps, you have housing assistance, you have the Obama phones. You save so much money whenever you're broke. But then whenever you're middle class, let's say you're making $40,000 a year, those are the people that are broke because they can't get food stamps, they can't get assistance, but at the same time, they also don't have the money to pay for it out of pocket either. I used to be...
I want to go back to a point you made, but let's stick on this point for a second because it's so true. The middle class is broke, and they're broke on both ends. They're broke literally from a practical financial standpoint, ending up at zero, still having to take out debt because they're paying so much in taxes, which these taxes go to supplement and subsidize other able-bodied people, as well as some people who need it. But as we see on here, a lot of people who are taking advantage of it and who have this philosophy that they would rather just quit their job and live off government assistance, because we can all see what's going on. We can see how people are living. We can see how people are shopping, grocery store and otherwise. But I said on both ends, the middle class worker is broke. They're broke practically and logistically within their life, but they're also broke in time because they're working hard, but still ending up at zero. So that's definitely something you can't dispute on the other side, because as we see, all these people on subsidized housing and government assistance, they got plenty of time, and we see it because what did that other woman with 6 kids just say? She's trying to become a content creator. It's like a full-time job. So she has a lot of time on her hands and energy, clearly, as well as this guy. He said he was on government assistance and he was a lazy sack of ish. It worked out. And I want to go back to that because he mentioned it. He said it worked out, and he said maybe a few people may end up kind of like how I did, but few and far between, they're just going to stay lazy because his content thing worked. Cool. But we have millions of examples of when it didn't and when it doesn't and how it still doesn't. Listen, there's a rapper out there somewhere who will tell you that they just kept grinding. They just kept putting out mixtapes and it all popped out. But we can all see all these other aspiring, struggling rappers that we know aren't never going to go nowhere.
I'm paying over $4 million in taxes, and I'm paying for the next generation of lazy retards, and maybe a handful of them might do well later on.
Maybe a handful of them might do well later on. A handful. He made sure to preface that because don't think you're just going to end up like me. A lot of luck goes into this, and a lot of right time, right place when it comes down to getting successful. Everyone's timing for successful is different, or for success is different. But I'm glad that he came back to say, yeah, I used to do this, but I was lazy. And I think that's almost like an admission as far as like, I got lucky. I really did. I got lucky. But I can look back and recognize that probably really didn't deserve it. But maybe he's being used to be an example to come back and show people and tell people, no, you can do better. You can do better in your situation. And don't expect to get lucky like me. Don't expect to get saved. She's replying to a comment, and the comment reads, most women live off government.
All of the programs that are available, all of the couch critters are coming into my comments mad about what I said. And this also brings up another issue amongst you couch critters. A lot of you guys are illiterate. Government aid, for the most part, is not gender specific. All of the programs that are available to women, such as food stamps, housing, a lot of the other aid, Medicaid, can be given to men and women. I also saw somebody mention child support. Well, you could get child support too if you had custody of your kids. You could get priority on, I think, housing in Section 8 if you had custody of your kids, because you'd be parent plus child. Most of these programs are income-based. It's not gender-based. Actually, if not all of them.
And that's where literacy comes in, because a lot of y'all need women to fill out applications for you. So of course you're never going to fill out the application, because illiteracy is a growing epidemic amongst this group of people. You know,
No. As we've been seeing, she she really came down to the thing as far as why men don't get on assistance is because they're just illiterate and they don't know how to fill out the application. Does that really seem like that's probably the reason, or do you think that it would probably be that they just we're trained not to do that by society, as well as the fact that I think most men, if they really know that they don't need it, they're not going to use it. Whereas we see a lot of y'all are taking advantage of it egregiously, as well as you take advantage of other things. What did the woman at the beginning say? Use a man. She's literally using men to pay for her meals. She said that she goes on 3 dates a week so that she could eat, as well as other things. We see another woman who was saying, I'm thinking about quitting my job and getting on government assistance, the woman that was in the car. So you don't think that that's more feasible as far as the reason why there's more women on it? And then she said, you can get custody of your kids, because then what she say? You get priority if you have kids. Ma'am, again, systemically, women automatically get custody of their kids. They don't look at every situation as far as who would be the better parent. Because honestly, if we looked at the statistics would tell you that this child would turn out better statistically and most likely actually if it was raised by its father. That's a fact. So again, it doesn't come down to people can't fill out application. What are you talking about? You probably got a bunch of dudes in your comments that will type and let you know that they're attracted to you and you're fine and marry me. So clearly they know how to read and clearly they know how to type and write. Stop it. Like majority of men out here are illiterate. Come on now. And that's why they're not on government assistance.
We are a family of 3 living completely off of government assistance. Let's budget our SNAP EBT for the month of May. Like I said in my last video, me and my boyfriend are completely blind and we're raising our 2-year-old toddler. I saw a few comments asking why we don't get jobs. I am a full-time college student on top of taking care of my toddler full-time. And my boyfriend is training to be a vending machine operator. Again, I'm being transparent with you guys to show you guys the real numbers and families that these policies are affecting. For the month of May, we have a whopping $359 of EBT. With 4 weeks in the month, if we divide $359 by 4, that's a total of $89 a week. In the next video, I will take you guys shopping with me and we can see what that $89 gets us for the.
And you see, I don't know if it's going to keep this because she's got that music playing. But do you see the difference? Listen, give her all the benefits, because she says she's blind and she's still in school. She's still in school. She should be able to get benefits. But now she's saying the regulations are affecting her too, possibly. But why are the regulations getting in place? Because so many people are abusing it. All these able-bodied people we've been reviewing so far and that we review ongoing, they should not. They're taking up space and they're taking up ultimately capital and money that could be allocated to her and other people like her. And so now things are getting distributed evenly when clearly people do not have similar circumstances to her. She's literally blind. She's literally blind. And you think that you should get the equal amount that she gets, or anything if that? You think that you have the same opportunities as her? This is who it's designed for. Not these other people who are just trying to be lazy. Even that guy who popped off and said that he was a lazy person. The famous guy, even him, he was getting benefits when it could have been going to people like her. And the woman wanted to say, oh, guys aren't on it because they don't do the application. No, maybe we just understand that there's other people who need it, and we just know that we don't actually need it. And so we just take responsibility of ourselves, which we're already trained to do to begin with. Matter of fact, we're not even trained to just take responsibility of ourselves. We're actually trained societally to actually have to be responsible for other people as well as ourselves. Her caption, or she's replying to a comment, I'm confused. How do you just live off the government by choice? What am I doing wrong?
I'm able to live solely off the government, even though there's nothing wrong with me and nothing preventing me from working. I think solely because I applied so many times and they got tired of looking through my application. And I was really obnoxious. I called the defects office multiple times a day until they finally were like, okay.
Perfect example. So we have another example right after that. As somebody who doesn't need it, and she even mentioned that she really doesn't qualify for it. She just continued to be tenacious. Instead of being tenacious about getting a job and then tenaciously working, she's tenaciously calling the government assistant office when she doesn't need it and taking up funds that could have went to that blind lady we just saw.
Really obnoxious. I called the defects office multiple times a day until they finally were like, okay, I think we can get you approved. And now I get an ungodly amount of money every month, like $10,000 a month from the government. I think just because I'm annoying. I think that's it. Now, I can't guarantee that being annoying is going to work for you and it's going to get you money from the government every month, but I encourage you to never stop trying. There's no harm in putting in the application multiple times. The worst they can say is no, and you already don't get any money from them. So what's the harm? Oh, another tip I have for you is do not get married under any circumstances. If you're already married, get divorced, even if you plan on staying together. Because if you are married, they're going to count your husband or your wife's income and with yours as well, and you're probably not going to get approved as fast. You need to be making like basically no money.
You know what's funny? This has come full circle. The woman said that men are illiterate and they don't fill out applications. And so that's why they don't get benefits, because they're just illiterate and they would need a woman to do it for them. Even the small segment of men who may fill out an application for government assistance, if they filled out an application one time, they wouldn't fill it out again. If you told dang near any man, you don't qualify for this assistance, so we're denying your application, then they would just move on and they would try to come up with another solution. She says she continued to put in applications even after she got denied. Why did she do that? Because somewhere in her psyche, she said, no, I'm a woman. I'm entitled to this. I'm not going to stop. You owe me this. So do we see the difference in the psyches, in the psychological way that we feel that society actually owes us? As men, we understand that society is not going to give us nothing. So we don't even think to go and put in an application for assistance. I've never thought that was an option for me. And I know there's tons of guys that are the same. She got denied not once, multiple times. And she said she didn't stop. She didn't stop. So that tells you that she felt entitled. No, something free. Oh, I definitely qualify for this. It came full circle. The caption says living off the government versus living off your parents.
I remember when people 30 plus years old used to live with their parents or whatever, and they was considered leeches, moochers. They was considered a bum. They was considered lazy. People would tell them to get their ass up and go get a job and stop living off their parents and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now in today's generation, you got people actually condoning it. Like, if you 30 plus years old, it's like, and someone is living with their parents, people in the comments would be like, hell yeah, I'll stay with my parents until the day I die, and I didn't have to pay no rent or no bills or nothing, and eat food for free and all this other stuff. Hell yeah, this economy is jacked up. I definitely would stay with my parents and da da da.
That's a good point.
But back then, that used to be shunned upon. Like, you a 40-year-old man living in your parents' basement. Like, women thought that was just crazy. They was like, oh, hell no. They thought that was insane. Even as a woman, men thought that was crazy. Men thought that was insane. They didn't like it. They're like, why are you so old, still living with your parents? Why you ain't got no job? Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying?
That is crazy. 40, any way you slice it or dice it, living with your parents does sound a little bit crazy. 40. But I would argue, yeah, definitely 32. Back in the day would have been crazy. But now you see it more often. And funny enough, even when you run across a 30-year-old, what I will say this, they don't seem 30. They don't seem like the previous generation of 30-year-olds in the early 2000s. They actually even still look like kids. Definitely act like kids. So I would agree. It's different now. And it is championed. Saving money and stay with your parents as long as possible. That is a sentiment that goes around. And I think it's harmful because then when does it stop? When does it stop? At some point, you just got to get out there, struggle if you need to, but ultimately, don't put self inflicted wounds on yourself. Listen, you can struggle by yourself all day long until you, at some point, figure something out. But if you never jump out there and you don't never make yourself uncomfortable and go through the struggle so that you can ultimately become more resourceful, because that's what the struggle will ultimately reveal. It'll make you more resourceful. You'll have to do more with less, and you'll have to be effective. And that's a beautiful blessing. And there's a lot of lessons and skills that will come from that. But if you stay comfortable and you just feel like you can just work at 60% and then you still get to save, but you're saving, but you're not resourceful. And let's be honest, a lot of people staying at home aren't saving. I meet people all the time who live at home and have the opportunity to put away every single dime that they bring in, and they still don't save, but they're actually living like they are well off. They're going on trips all the time. They're going to concerts, festivals, the works. And so you're not even resourceful with the opportunity that you have that not everyone has, as far as being able to go live with somebody rent free, bill free. And you're still not even stewarding that correctly.
And why you ain't living in your own place. They thought that was crazy. But in today's society, people think that's just the way to go. It's so awesome. It's so cool. I wish I could live with my parents and not have to worry about nothing. But let somebody get on Section 8. Let somebody get on food stamps. Let somebody get on government assistance. Oh my gosh, they become every bum, every lazy, every brokey, every scum. Oh, you using our tax dollars. Oh, you need to get up and get a job.
Is that where she's going with it? Is that where she's going with it? Well, we can talk about it.
You need to provide for yourself. Oh my God, you're such a bum. You're so lazy. You don't want to do nothing. You want to just mooch off the government for the rest of your life and have them pay your bills and have them do everything for you. You don't want to do nothing for yourself. What is that 40-year-old boy? What is that 40-year-old man doing? What is that 30-year-old something woman doing? Still living with their parents. They doing the same thing that someone would be doing if they was on Section 8, food stamps, any type of government assistance. They doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? All the difference is between them is that they staying with they parents and they living off their tax.
She just conflated something. She just conflated the two. in a way that doesn't make any logical sense. And here's what I mean. I agree that pretty much those two situations, and the situations I'm referring to is the first of living off the government, and then the second of living with your parents. I agree that those are pretty much in the same boat, in the same realm, the same thing. You're depending on something to take care of you as a grown adult, more than grown, because we're talking about people 30s and above. So I actually disagree with her in that I think that actually the sentiment has been, if you're living, especially if we just change it between the dynamics of men and women. If a man is 30 living with his parents, he's seen as a bum. He's seen as get your ish together. He's seen as you don't need to date right now. You need to get your ish together. But then, because she was using men and women in these situations, but first of all, there's far more women living off government assistance than men. It's the ratios are almost laughable if you try to compare the two. So men living at home with their parents would get a bad rap, but then I'll see people on government assistance and they feel empowered by it. They feel they'll actually have their nose up on a high horse, like they're smarter and better than other people, and like they're handling their responsibilities. And we definitely know that they are on these programs and they are dating more than dating. They are conceiving. They are making the situation worse. There is no shame that they are on these programs, but I would argue there is still, I'm not going to say when it comes to women living with their parents, I don't think that that gets the same look as a man being that exact same age living with their parents. If a woman is 28 living with her parents, I don't think that's going to be viewed the same as a man that's 28 living with his parents. And then as we just continue to up the ages, it just gets worse, but I still don't think it's as bad. I think how she started it, if we get to the age of 40, then it starts to kind of stabilize a little bit. But until that, or until then, I think that for the most part, it's really just men that get the looks, the bad looks, as far as ultimately the idea is just being taken care of or being dependent on something. But men don't live off the government for the most part. So you can just go ahead and remove them from that completely. And again, I think there's people living on government assistance and all these things, and they actually have pride and they feel like they're independent. You know how ironic it is? People walking around here on government assistance talking about they independent, they don't need this, they don't need that, but they are very much dependent on the government, but they don't feel like it because they still have their own house, their own space. And really, they're just leveraging it maliciously and strategically. So that's what we have to address. But y'all, we're going to actually leave it there for today. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second, and it's just a click. And then also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers. Excuse me. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller creator, a smaller channel, I actually get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels, so that's why. But if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then it's probably been over 7 days. And hype usually vanishes after 7 days, so that's why. So for that reason, it's usually best practice to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot. And then also, if you want to become a member of the channel, you can press the join button on this video. And what becoming a member of the DXU family will come with is you would get membership badges next to your comments. So people will be able to see that you are a member whenever you leave a comment, as well as you would get early access to content and exclusive content that is not available for everyone else on YouTube. So again, join button if you want to become a member. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.